Alright guys, today I feature my Forces of the Abyss in 4 battle reports against 3 Goblin lists and Elves. Stay tuned. Hello there! I like to watch battle reports to get better at games. So I started making short, summarized battle reports that focus on learning points. So welcome to my channel, Newbie Dice. Do like, subscribe and hit the bell icon if you enjoy my videos. Do consider speeding up this video with the YouTube settings to consume this content or other YouTube content in a fraction of the time. Okay, so I decided to do this 4 battle reports together because I haven't been posting battle reports for a while because I'm actually planning what list or what army I'm going to focus on in 2023, and I wanted it to be a Mantic army. So for Mantic armies, I have 3. I have Basileia, Order of the Green Lady, and my latest Mantic army is this Abyss army. Okay, and I do have a video of all my armies. You can watch it somewhere around here. I'll link it at the top. But this is my Abyss army. It's Persian themed. So I'm just going to scroll through all of them. Okay, I did have a video of my army, all my armies. Okay, so these are my Persian themed Abyssal army. Okay. Feel free to pause if you see something interesting. Turbans with jewel encrusted on them. Morlocks, and I'm using the Soul Flayers as my Abyssal Horsemen. Gargoyles. And Manifestation of Baal or Jafar, I call it. Alright, so I'm trying to play the Abyss because I've been playing Order of the Green Lady for a while, and that list is all about that 15-17 nerf and alpha striking. So it does the 15-17 nerf very well, but I do think that the meta has caught up and are able to deal with 15-17 nerf very effectively. So that list is a little bit on the back foot. So I decided to try the Forces of the Abyss army, and this is my list. And it has 5 hammers, 3 Morlocks with the upgrades, and 2 horsemen, and lots of chaff, right? I have 2 gargoyles, 1 ghoul and one troop and 1 regiment of ghouls, tortured souls regiments, which are all pretty much chaff. Okay, and then I still have 2 abyssal warlocks, 1 with scorched earth, and Zazuzu, which is the character warlock, as well as Manifestation of Baal, and all the pieces score. So all 14 drops score, and I have lots of chaff and lots of hammers, 5 hammers to be exact, and Morlocks by themselves, they blend things, right? So this, and I have like a mini dragon in the Manifestation of Baal, and it does Lightning Bolt 7, which is pretty useful too. So this list is faring pretty well, but I know that it has a bit of a weakness against shooting because the special rule of the Abyss is almost all of them have Fury, and Fury doesn't work when you're wavered in shooting, right? So that's one of the innate weakness. And of course, Morlocks are only defense 4, which makes them very vulnerable to shooting. Abyssal Horsemen are defense 5, but they are 1 pip of nerf lower than what most other knights are. They're 14-16 instead of 15-17 for an expensive cav. So these are the innate weaknesses of at least my hammer pieces against shooting, as well as the army special rule of Fury doesn't work well against shooting. Okay, so I decided to place this through a shooting gauntlet. I approached people who are playing shooting lists, and namely Goblins and Elves, to give it a shot against them. So this is the list that I'm going to be playing for my first 2 battle reports. Okay, and this is the first army I'm up against, Goblins with, if you see at the top, 18 units, 25 unit strength. Okay, yeah, 4 rebels, but 2 regiment, 2 hordes of trolls, mincers with sharpness. This is pretty scary. Triple trombone, double winged, double slasher with trombone, king with groany snark and pendant, a flagit with banechant, a bangit with inspiring, and a king on chariot. Okay, so let's see how things go. So the first game we're playing dominate, and if you notice I circled the blocking terrain and the forest creates this, firstly this small window, and it splits my forces into two forcefully. And of course, if you're playing dominate and you get to choose side, you will choose the other side that's a bit more open, because this blocks up real estate. So you can see that I can't deploy units here, and I have to swing around to get around the center. So so you see my things have to spread out further to the left and right because I can't squeeze into this. This lane is blocked off. I would have been able to drop one hammer and one chaff in this spot if not for that blocking terrain. So he won side, gave me this side, and I won initiative, and I went first because dominate. I thought that, you know, I need to get into the zone first, and if it's a shooting army, you should go first. But however, his shooting army is a little bit unique, that most of it is short range. So the trombones and the slashers are 12-inch range. The wingeds are also 12-inch range, but they fly 10, so they're effective 22, but they have to get close to get shots off. Okay, no lightning bolts. Bangit is also 12-inch. So the only longer range one would be Crony Snug with their bow that's 18-inch and the King on Chariot with the bow that's 18-inch. So nonetheless, I went first. Okay, so this is my first turn. If you're wondering what other units that's on the board, you can pause it here to see the labeling. Okay, if not, I'll proceed onwards. I moved up, I started some shots. I have 2 lightning bolt casters. So I decided to try to snipe off the flagit. I think this is a bangit. A bangit here, and then a flagit here. So lightning bolt from Zazuzu over here, and Bale lightning bolt into the flagit, the bangit. Okay, I dealt 2 wounds each. So because I thought that, you know, if I could snipe out these characters, or because there's only one inspiring source all the way over on this side. So if I snipe it off, then this whole lot doesn't get inspiring. Okay, and take note that this forest sort of splits the dominate circle into half, right, the left and the right of it. Okay, so dealt 2 wounds each, no waiver, so that's a bit sad, but it's okay. So after the guys got shot, they kind of go into hiding mode. So this is hiding behind the forest and the winged. Okay, this flagit is hiding behind the slasher, height 6. I can't see it anymore. Alright, so he pushed everything up. I think the king here shot 3 wounds into the Morlocks, which was quite painful. Okay, the Grony flew all the way over from the left to the right, say from the left all the way over here, to avoid, I guess, to spread more inspiring and hit strong around. Okay, so my turn. So I'm in a very weird position. I put backwards, okay, because I thought, hey, I did quite successful shooting, maybe I can keep this up. And moreover, other than the 2 lightning bolt casters, my 2 warlocks can also shoot at 18-inch range, and the trombones tread 17-inch, so that's good for me, right? So despite the flagit or the bangit hiding all the way over here, my Bale still tried to catch an angle to shoot at it again. I was hoping to take it out, but now it's on 4 wounds, but I only managed to waver it. Okay, I think my warlocks, 2 of my warlocks shot into this, into the trombone over here, waver it, and Zazuzu shot into the king on chariot and got a lucky waver off. So things started off on a great start. I think we're off to a great start, right? Alright, bottom of 2, what happened is Grony Snug with the headstrong aura flew all the way from here 20 inches over here, which was where the chariot hero was at, wavered, and that allowed it to roll headstrong. And I think before it does that, this guy makes his headstrong roll as well. That is the bangit with inspiring. Okay, so the chariot hero charged into the abyssal horseman, effectively pinning it in place for the 2 troll hordes to follow up. Okay, for the bangit that was wavered, it passed the headstrong roll, and so it ran 10 inches this way, while the flagit ran 10 inches that way. So they're like swapping. It's like the swapping of guards, putting the less injured inspiring source over here because it's facing off against 3 shooting sources. Right, the rest of his forces are pushing up very aggressively, especially this horde over here, which is being surrounded by the trolls and the mincer mob behind, so on and so forth. Yeah, so on the right side, this trombones, two of them moved up behind the rebel. Okay, so turn 3, I decided, no, I can't fend them off any longer. I need to go in. Okay, so first off, from the left, I countercharged the Chariot King and killed it. This horseman have sharpness on it, and then it backed off. Okay, these gargoyles who was used as a battery for the Zazuzu flew up to chaff up the two trolls. So let me rewind one step. So Zazuzu was also wavered on the hill, so he couldn't do lightning bolts this turn. Good news is I could back up behind the hill to prevent it getting shot off. Okay, so the gargoyles, I think this is the maximum it could fly. So what it did was it blocked off this troll from charging the horseman, but not this one. Okay, this one could pivot past and charge into the horseman, but of course it will be hindered because it has to go through this field over here. Okay, so I double charged the horde over here. Okay, after double charging and killing it, okay, thankfully only 14 wounds, but I rolled enough. They have brutal, right? So I just needed a 6 twice and got it. Okay, so Moloch's man reformed backwards and it went back 3 inches, and ghouls went forward about 3 inches. So what it did was it created this window where I think the mincers couldn't charge through. Okay, because it was, if they were to pivot, let me see if I can draw. Oops. Okay, if they were to pivot to clear these ghouls, okay, I think they would hit the gargoyles. Okay, so it couldn't charge these Molochs over here, which is great news for me, right? And yeah, so this is what my play on the left. This ghoul troop, which I have been around since the first turn hiding behind, he couldn't get into a position to screen the Molochs because the Moloch has to charge and then back off, right? So this ghoul troop was a little bit annoying that I couldn't get him into a useful position, especially at this stage where I really need to chaff out multiple lanes. Okay, another thing about the Molochs is when it backed up, it got onto the hill, so things that might suffer cover will not suffer cover anymore. Although it doesn't affect the 2 slashes because they're height 6, they can see over height 3 things with no penalty, but this is the bang it, so there is penalty, right? Okay, so over on the right side, my Bale, once again, the bang it with 4 wounds ran off. Now it's the flag it with 2 wounds. I lightning bolt again and dealt another 2 wounds, and still I did not take out that inspiring source. At this point, I felt that I've wasted 3 rounds of lightning bolt on this. If I have just shot it onto the trombone, maybe I would have taken it off by now, right? So that was quite a waste. Okay, so horseman with J boots went in and dealt a sizable amount of wounds, hoping to finish it off the next round. Molochs are coming in to threaten both the horde as well as this regiment of rebel over here. Okay, and this other warlock shot into the trombone and killed it, thankfully. Okay, it's not an inspiring, so just needed 1 roll. Okay, and over here on this side, I cast Scorch Earth onto the mincers because at the point that you cast Scorch Earth, I didn't know what the reform would look like because I don't know how much I would roll. Okay, so this seems going pretty okay for me. So let's see what happens next. Firstly, on the left, so 1 horde of the trolls charged into the horseman, hindered, so dealt a little bit of wounds, 5 wounds. Okay, and the other one killed off the gargoyles. Now the shots here, 1, 2 slashes which have trombone-like attacks into the Molochs. I guess Grony has a bow that can shoot as well, and Bang It can, I'm not sure if it's within 12, seems like it's almost in, should be in, and the Wing It over here can all shoot and take out, not take out but put it on 10 wounds and wavered it. Okay, so wavered, it's not the end of the world. I have regen, but well, they can't fight, right? Okay, double charge from mincers and the rebel to take out the ghouls. And is it a double charge? Looked like a double charge, but only 8 wounds. That's strange. Okay, so over on the right side, this is what is quite astonishing. There are only 1, 2, 3 sources of shooting here. The 2 trombones are shooting with cover, so that's an average of 6 hits and 3 wounds. this is the wing it shooting. That's an average of 1.5 to 2 wounds, so it should be 5 wounds on average. He dealt 11 and killed my horseman. Okay, so this right side where I feel that I'm pretty strong, you know, I get the trombones get to shoot once with cover, and then I'm gonna pick it off again with all my shooting. But now it has served its purpose of killing one hammer unit on the right side. Okay, so top of 4, let's look at the right. So my Morlocks charged in to finish off this rebel. Okay, Warlock over here shot this, and I think maybe Bill shot it as well. Let me see if it's within arc. Yep, seems like it. Shot it as well, killed it. Okay, and the gargoyle saw a flank in the rebel. Good chance of killing it, right? Because gargoyles do have 10 attacks, 20 in the flank. Yep, but did not kill it. Okay, over on the right. Over on the left, this middle Morlocks went into this unit of rebel. Okay, the withered Morlocks backs up. Zazuzu comes up again, this time shooting onto the Bangit and killing it. Okay, and yeah, sacrificing the ghoul, using the ghoul as sacrifice. This time the ghoul moved 10 to chaff up once again, but not very effective chaffing if you ask me, because I think the mincers could still easily go into these Morlocks. Okay, yeah, and it could double charge with the slasher too. Okay, and over here my sharpness horsemen counter charges the trolls as well as the tortured souls in the flank, killed it, and this way I reform again with half of its base overlapping. So if these trolls were to go in, it will take hindrance from the terrain again. Okay, so what happened over here? Over on the right side, trolls went in expectedly. Slasher on the hill charges tortured souls and rolled well to take it off. Okay, because even if it dealt 7 wounds, it needed to roll 7 twice. Okay, the mincers went for the gargoyle troop. Now 7 wounds on the Morlocks. Groany alone charged in, dealt 4 wounds and rolled the 7 twice to kill it. Okay, Groany on the average is 7 hits and 5 hits and 5 wounds if you don't roll any ones. So yep, it's within the possibility for sure, but just within a good chance of routing. Okay, and this fresh Morlocks just taking shots, not a lot of shots once again, just the slasher with 10 and the wing it with 3, I think blasting very well and just killed the Morlocks outright. My goodness. And over on the right side, the rebel did not get wavered, so it counter charges and wavers the gargoyles in return. Now once again, just these 2 shooting sources shooting into the Morlocks wavered it with 4 wounds, but wavered it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this round is going amazing for my opponent for just getting the Morlocks with just Groany, getting the tortured souls over here, wavering this. Okay, it's just this one was within expectation, but at least it didn't roll extremely well. So top of my sharpness horseman killed off the trolls on its own. Also have to roll quite well for this because I don't think I have been chant here. Okay, because my Zazuzu has went up to be a sacrifice for against the mincer mob, hoping that this would survive, but actually I think I regenerated 0 wounds, so it's dead. It's bound to be dead with 12 wounds sitting on it already. Right side pretty much cleared up everything with Bale charging 1 war engine, and I think I shot this one down. Okay, so bottom of 5. Once again, just 5 wounds on this Abyssal Horseman. Groany went in, rode really well, I guess, to take out the Abyssal Horseman all on his own, while the rest of his forces started making its way into the Dominate circle. Okay, and at this point I went in, but I think we stopped it here because I have 6 unit strength at best. This is probably gonna die to all the shooting that he has between the 2 slashers. Okay, and when all of it went in, it is 6. Okay, so it's 7, right? this is wavered but not dead. So the slashes are now worth 2 unit strength each. So this is 2, 2, 2, and 1. Okay, so it's 7 at the bottom of 6, and he'll probably kill off this. So probably a loss for me anyway. So learning points: stay out of your threat range, stay out of your opponent's threat range until you're ready to commit. So that's me staying out of his trombone range until I'm going in. Okay, snipe out soft targets, trombones, and I was trying to snipe out the characters, but I guess I shouldn't have. Focus on the scenario, because even when things were doing terribly for me, it was still quite a close game, right? And so I'm going to play a shout out video to my local game store right now. If you're from the Asia Pacific region, do consider checking out Hammer House website for your hobby needs. They carry a wide range of miniatures and hobby supplies, including Mantic, Vallejo, Scale 75, and Green Stuff World products. Okay, now the second battle is against Elves list, and this is actually against Adam Ballott's Elf list, which is really, really strong, and it's another, putting it through the gauntlet trial by fire with the same Abyssal list. Okay, so we're playing push. He won the sides and he won the initiative to go first. This is how we deployed, and we only rolled 1 token each, or maybe there's more than 1, but either way we put it all on 1 unit, and for me it's Zazuzu. Now with loot tokens, I'm always afraid of enemies picking up the tokens top of 1 and running away with it. Granted, this scenario is push, that means you're supposed to bring the tokens over to the opponent's half to be worth 2 VPs, but I'm always afraid as a somewhat slow army player that someone might snatch the token at the top of 1 and run away with it. So I think I deployed this way, which is not the correct move, that I deployed the 2 regiments of Abyssal Horsemen to threaten the center token at whatever is trying to pick it up. Now, it's not easy for him to pick it up because of the terrain over here. I think the only thing that can pick it up are the Dracons, right? Because of the fence. Okay, so because the 2 cavalry are here, he deployed his Sea Guard here. They have phalanx, so it's like, and this big infantry block wants to be in the center anyway, so I'm like playing right into his hands. Okay, and another error I feel that I've made is I deployed these forces too far out to the flank. Maybe I'm too used to my old Alpha Striking playing style where I like to deploy very spread out, but now deploying very far to the flanks. And yeah, especially this is the one where you're supposed to take the tokens, which is in the middle, and you're supposed to push through to the opponent's side, right? Maybe I was afraid of the opponent outflanking me, surrounding me, which is what I usually do as the Alpha Strike player. So I think that's why I spread them out, which I felt was a mistake. I also wanted to put this all the way here because if you notice the arcs of the bolt throwers, once I cross these lines, the bolt throwers will not be able to fire at me anymore. So these are the names of the units. In case you want to check what's what, you can pause to watch, take a look at them. Okay, if not, let's move on. So he won the top of 1. He unloaded. These are 2 Silver Breeze. And let's see if there's any more shooting. The Sea Guard probably shot as well from the way it moved just to get the angle and shoot, and shoot. 12 damage and a waver. Okay. Bolt throwers, not sure where they shot at. Maybe it's here as well. Okay, this one, maybe it's still in. Yeah, I think it's still in. Yeah. Or maybe it shot something else, but nonetheless, 12 damage here. 2 damage here on the ghouls from these Glade Stalkers. Okay, this is the Alchemist Wizard with levitation, so it moves 18 and casts 12. Right? Okay, so I move up my staff. So knowing my error, because immediately he also started to swing his forces over, right? The action is all in the center, so I started to move my things towards the center as well. Now the Morlocks is a little bit restricted in the movement, being deployed so close to the edge. Okay, so they start to sway around. Okay, so it's only leaving one Slate Stalkers to kind of hold this flank, which is effective enough because he can shoot and kite at me. Right, and for magic, Zazuzu onto the Alchemist Curse Wizard. I think Bale also got an angle into it. The two Warlocks shot at the Battle Cats and killed it. Okay, so immediately I pulled the Morlocks back because the heal can protect me from line of sight from at least the boat throwers, and the gargoyles will give me cover from all these units over here. Okay, the left flank legs it upwards. Okay, so I have 2 chaff to screen my advance. Okay, this gargoyle is staying back for a future turn. So he's happy to shoot at my chaff wall and killed both of it. Okay, and while we did the shooting over here, killed off the ghouls. Okay, this is Nimue, and then this is the Alchemist Curse Ghoul. Okay, so with this extra, because there's a Cloak of Death, I think. So with this extra wound here on Bill, I think he had some leftover shots to pump into Bill after the rolls on the ghoul. Okay, so bottom of 2. So I want to bring this Morlock back into action again. So I did a lot of work to try to screen it. Okay, so firstly, my 2 horsemen, 1 charge the Sea Guard and 1 charge the Silver Breeze Cavalry, routing it. Okay, so I wanted to prevent this Dracon Riders with a 150 mil frontage from hitting this Morlock. So I screened it with these 2 Warlocks so that it couldn't land inside. Okay, what I failed to see was it has a flank angle onto this unit of horsemen. So I thought that my horsemen could stay here for a while, you know, or at least if he commit more stuff. Depends on what this Dracon Horde wants to do. If he commits more stuff, at least he needed 2 big units to kill 1. Alright, over here on the right side, Bale killed off the Alchemist Cursed Wizard. Zazuzu, not sure why I did. I think I backed out of line of sight and shot at stuff. Okay, so next. So this unit gets killed because of the flank from the Dracon Regiment. This is a double charge, killing the other regiment. And the Dracon Lord sacrifices itself to chaff up this unit of Morlocks. Okay, so right now I have this unit of Morlocks into this Silver Breeze. Okay, and then lots of shots went here. I think is this one, Nimue, as well as maybe the boat throwers went here and took out or wavered the Morlocks. So in return, Morlocks killed this, Morlocks killed this. I try to chaff up all the hammers, so the horde gets chaffed by this, but I failed to do any wound, so I didn't even strip its thunderous. Okay, and then this warlock charges the regiment. Okay, so let's see how it all turned out. So the 1 remaining regiment charged and killed off the Morlocks. These are on 6 wounds, having been wavered on 12 in the earlier turns. What happened here? Okay, the horde charged into the Morlocks and killed it, and the Sea Guard charged into the rear of the Warlock and killed it. This units continue to shoot and kill off these Morlocks. So right now, at the top of 4, I'm pretty much wiped out with only 1 ghoul, 1 gargoyle, and 1 Bale remaining. Okay, and I think by my Zazuzu poking into the forest, shots went in and killed it as well with definitely a little bit of good rolls. So I conceded here at the top of 4. Wow, so that was very brutal, huh? So deploy according to scenario is a learning point, so it's hard for my slow units to swing back into action. So watch out for flank charges from flyers. And yeah, once again, focus on the scenario. Okay, phalanx will really screw up cavalry, so be careful where you put your cavalry. Maybe if you split them up, at least his 1 unit of phalanx will not be able to reap double benefits. Okay, so beware of turn 1 enemies grabbing the loot but not overly absorbed by it. So on hindsight, I shouldn't have, right? Okay, so have a plan against shooting armies. My plan initially was to have just 5 hammers, which I thought was a lot with lots of chaff, but I guess it's to me it's not enough to deal with the very shooty armies. So with that, I workshopped with Adam a little bit to tweak my list. And so I have sacrificed 1 unit of Morlocks for other stuff. So what I have is 2 extra units of Tortured Souls. Now there's 3. And I squeezed the Seductress with Gnome Glass Shield in there. They are really good at sniping out solo units or go war machine hunting and stuff like that, war engine hunting. So yeah, I think I sacrificed the sharpness on the Horseman as well in order to fit all these elements in, because the 2 Tortured Souls would already roughly equate the cost of 1 Morlocks. And so the Seductress is an upgrade from a Warlock, and I felt that Scorched Earth isn't doing wonders for my list. So yep, the Scorched Earth Warlock was replaced with Seductress with some access points from the loss of sharpness. Okay. And I shoved in 1 extra troop of ghouls too. Let me see. I think I upgraded the ghoul regiment into the ghoul troop into the gargoyles. Okay. So I'm playing against a local guy of mine. This will be a live game, so you see real models. Okay, so I asked him to make the nastiest goblin shooting list he could, and this is what he came up with: 6 hordes of rebels to unlock everything. So for war engines, triple trombone, triple sharpsticks throwers. For monsters, triple blasters, 1 winged and 2 titans, and 2 goblin slashers with trombones. Okay. For heroes, Groany Snark with Headstrong Aura, 2 bandits, 3 wizards, 1 with Hex, 1 with Alchemist Curse, and 1 with extra Lightning Bolt. So this is how we deployed, and the scenario is Fool's Gold. This is where you put objective tokens secretly on the opponent's half, and only on the bottom of 3 they are all flipped over to reveal their value. Okay, so starting the game, I know the value of the tokens I placed, right? So if you notice, I placed the 2 pointer here, the 1 pointer here and here, because they have to be within 12 of each other, and I thought of trying to just go for one side. And so I shoved it all here, and the third one, unfortunately, have to be so far back. Okay, so these 2 are worth nothing. Okay, for him, he knew that he's going to stay back and shoot, so it's difficult for him to get across the board. So he placed 3 tokens almost near the center line. So if you notice, this thing is denoting the center line, on the opponent's half, right? So it's just past the halfway mark. Okay, and then there's another token here and here. Okay, so let's see how it happens. So I pushed up over here, and I think I'm also a bit too protective of my chaff. I don't want it to go up too early. Now this Morlock moved up quite aggressively, right? And I'm thinking, like, because he's spread out all across the board, so quite a lot of shooting, they are spread all the way around. So the only shooting that can get to me was like a trombone here, maybe a winged here, maybe a wizard here, and the slasher, I'm not sure if it's even in shooting range. So I thought, like, I think I can weather this. Okay, so notice that I'm also deployed very lightly on the right side. Here's some proxy Elohai as Tortured Soul regiments. So I'm just using fastings, plus this is another unit of gargoyles. I'm just using fastings to delay the right flank as much as possible, because I put 0 points, 0 on here and here, right? I don't know what value is this, and I don't know what value is this. Okay, so yeah, this horseman just swings towards, just overlooks the center. Okay, I do have like hills and forest to sort of hopefully make my advance in cover. Okay, so yeah, my Seductress flew all the way over here behind the hill. I think I wanted to be behind the hill so that I don't get seen by anything. Granted, it's not a good choice target to shoot at, but it's the most forwards unit, so it could if he has nothing better to shoot, he'll still shoot at me. So turn one, bottom of one, he did 8 wounds to my Morlocks, which is quite a lot, right? It's quite painful. From this is a trombone, this is the winged, and maybe a little bit of wizard shots here. That's maybe another one here. That's about it. And 8 wounds, I'm like, ouch, that hurts. Not doing well at this point. Okay, so top of 2 note, I noticed that I think we might have mistaken his list, and we swapped the trombone here for a second winged, which was not supposed to be. But nonetheless, let's continue on with the battle report. Okay, so I charged my Morlocks on the left, charged into the trombone and killed it. Okay, and I thought that now my initial plan upon deployment was that, okay, I'm gonna get this 1 point here and swing over very easily to the back of here. But it's much easier said than done. So this is like a very narrow pass, and one horde of rebel can hold it quite well. Of course, I can't fit 2 units into it. Morlocks might not kill it in one go. In the meantime, these unit of Morlocks, they are already wounded and they're gonna go down pretty soon. So very bad plan on my part to begin with. Okay, I should not have attempted to do this grand plan of going around a narrow passage. Okay, over here, let's see, the Seductress has only 1 target to charge at, so it charged at the winged. Okay, and what? Oh, it charged at the winged with the tortured souls, I think, and then the horseman and Bale charged at the rebel to kill it. Okay, so what else happened here? This gargoyles moved up to protect the flank of this unit. Okay, and over here I'm just delaying time on the right side, okay, while these forces push upwards. Okay, so over on the left, those Morlocks were easily shot off between the Slasher's Blast as well as a wizard over here. I'm not sure which spell configuration it is, but these 2 units just killed off the Morlocks. Okay, Blaster charged into the flank of the Tortured Souls but failed to rout it because it is hindered. Okay, the Titan charged into Bale to hold it there, while the shooting all took out the horseman over on this side. Okay, with second winged, not supposed to be, but it could easily be a trombone and still reap massive havoc. Okay, and then 4 characters, a second trombone, and the blaster, while it's not charging, could throw bombs as well. And this is a boat thrower, and this boat thrower is here as well, easily able to shoot at it. Okay, and some of the shots here unloaded here and started wavering stuff because they are gargoyles after all. Okay, so top of 3, let's see. Over on the left side, so my ghouls charged into the rebel, but this is a lost cause right now. Okay, so this 1 point and this 1 point is probably lost to me, so I'm clinging very desperately to hold this 2 point token over here. So these 2 units double charge the rebel, and one is clear and the other one is hindered, but nonetheless I did not rout it, so that is sad times for me. But even if I have routed it, well, the weight of his shooting is going to take out one of my hammers anyway. So what I did over on this side is that I think I double charged the Titan, while the Tortured Souls not counter charge because the blaster died on its own, right? I think it has nothing to do, it couldn't see anything from behind Bale, so it sidestepped. Okay, gargoyles charged the flank of the winged and nothing. Okay, so for my Tortured Souls on the right, I decided to charge them in One into the rebel, which is unlikely to kill it, right? The other one into the blaster, hoping to take it out. It did not take it out, however. So bottom of 3. Let's see. This will be stuck in a very long battle, but he will eventually grind me out because he has 25 attacks while I have 12. He has double my attacks, and of course higher nerf. So he will do double the wounds on average to me. So with that, his slasher starts to turn around to assist towards the middle-ish. Okay. So let's see. Bill got killed, I think. Yeah, Bill got killed over 2 rounds by the Titan. And over here, this unit got wavered. Okay, this unit got wavered. And then this unit countercharged by the Rebel. Okay, over here, some wounds here, some wounds here. This is still alive, thankfully. And this is bottom of 3, so the revealing of tokens. So I know my tokens are here. He has a 2-pointer in the middle, which... good news, I'm still fighting over it. He put a 1-pointer all the way back, which was pretty interesting. Perhaps he thought that, you know, once I commit, I wouldn't have anything behind to hold this, to be holding this token. And then another 1-pointer here. So top of 4. Yep, the left side, Eternal Grind. The right side, towards the middle, I think the Seductress killed off the Slasher. And then what's happening over here? Nothing very interesting, unfortunately. So not sure why. Okay, so the gargoyles were wavered. So I decided to hold it, screen the Tortured Souls. Okay, over here I finally took out all the stuff that's around here. This guy's wavered, just stood there and regen. And these guys continue to fight. Okay, but nonetheless, with so many small little shooting pieces on the board, they'll eventually kill me off. Okay, I think I didn't get the bottom of 4 shots, but the Morlocks got killed off. These 2 units, or rather the Tortured Souls, probably got killed off. Okay, because I only see the gargoyles. Yep, the Tortured Souls over here got killed off. So my Seductress is just hunting units now, trying to kill off some heroes. Okay, and as you see, almost everything is gone in the next few turns. By the end of 6, I have almost nothing on the board. Okay, just the Warlock over here and the Seductress over here. He scores 1. He abandoned this, so he scores 2 here. There's 2 here, and there's 1 here. Okay, so that's everything that he scored, while I have 0. So learning points. So blocking terrain are great for stopping charges, right? Even with that small passage, just the Rebel Horde can hold, and then the Slasher can be behind, blasting away. And even the first turn, even if my Morlocks were in charge distance, he could have easily put the Trombone out there to prevent my Rebel from being charged. So beware of just a few shooting elements can deal a lot of damage. Okay, so my Morlocks, if it was to go so aggressively, I think I should have screened it. And to be fair, I think some of it was screened because it's on this side of the fence, right? So shots coming from here will suffer cover, except the Wing It, of course, which ignores Obscured. And whatever shooting at me from this side will suffer a bit of cover, but still it was enough to deal me that amount of damage. Okay. So I played the same Abyss list into Goblins again, and this was my first opponent with, I'm not sure if he tweaked his list by this iteration, seems mostly the same. Okay, seems like it's the same list. So let's see how it goes. This time we're playing loot, so 3 tokens on the center line. He wants tokens, he wants sides and initiative. So 3 tokens over here. I forgot who put which. Alright, but two of them close together while one is far away. So I do deploy fast stuff on the right side to threaten this token, but move away if I have to. And he deployed very lightly over here, so I'm most likely gonna make a grab for that token. So I think my goal was to grab one token here and either one of these two. Okay, I can't remember which one I was gunning for. Maybe the left one, because I can do a flanking maneuver. Although he has his mincers, I can sort of attempt a flanking maneuver to really threaten him. So he moved up pretty aggressively. Okay, and on my turn, oh, so these are the unit names in case you wanna look at it. Okay, and on my turn, pushed up. So one thing I did really cool was to fly the Seductress 20 inches up here. So now it's threatening the flank of the entire force. So you have to decide what he would like to expose to me. Now, especially the trombones over here is something that I would like to get to. Of course, we're all height 2. So if he wanted, he could have screened the trombones from being seen by me. Okay. Otherwise, most of my things pushed up, double Morlocks, one behind another. Okay, and this one is getting cover from the wall over here, and it has J-boots. Okay, so he moved up, make a grab for the tokens, and this time he's starting to unload his shots, right? So let's see. Top of 2. Over on the right side, some shots into the horseman. Okay, some shots over here. Okay, Tortured Souls got killed off with a bit of lucky roll, but I guess it's the slasher over here. Okay, now he has 2 trolls over here which are semi-punchy, but he needs to swing around this rocks formation. And if I divert his attention with some stuff over on the left side, he cannot just make a hard swing over. Okay, so over on the left, he shot the slasher into the Morlocks, 3 wounds, respectable. And this was the controversial move in my opinion. He moved his trombones to be on the hill. Granted, it pushes his trombones further up, and he might have great line of sight later on. But I don't think he needed to go onto the hill right now. In fact, since the tokens are on this line, he just needed to push far enough to get the tokens with the rebel, and I will have to come to him. Okay, so he didn't need to push his trombone up so aggressively, in my opinion, and that was the opening I need. Because what happened? Wow, look at this. So let's see. A few things happened here. The 3 trombones, 2 of them were killed and 1 of them was wavered. Okay, so I think my Seductress charged this one because he has 8 wounds, and then my Warlock shot 1 each. Okay, granted I was a little bit greedy. I went for different targets, but it paid off because I killed 1 and wavered the other. Okay, so in terms of combat, double charges required to kill a rebel horde, double charges over here. Okay, and so now I have 3 hammers in his face. Okay, the gargoyles charged this rebel, wavering it, and because the gargoyle is wider than the rebel, so there's this little piece here that will sort of restrict how his mincers can move, because there's this tail end sticking out within his way. Okay, so over on the right, charged in, but hoping to kill off the rebel, but I only wavered it. Yep, dice were a little bit unlucky on this side. Bale, lightning bolted, and wavered the winged over here. The chariot is here, not threatening the flank, thankfully. So top of 3. So let's see what he did. Okay, so this unit moved back enough so that this mincers can pivot. Now it couldn't charge the horseman, so it charged into the Morlocks in the middle. So sad thing about being in the charging something in the middle is that after you kill, you are facing down these 2 units. We are playing with withdraw rules. So now he's facing the front and the flank of another. He did charge me with a unit, but I could withdraw and charge this mincers, which is probably what I did. Okay, shooting hurt this warlock. Wow, what else? Let me see. Slasher picked up the center token. Now I am going for this token over here. So I think I'm aiming for the 2 far end tokens right now. Okay. So the trolls, one face this way, one face that way, not knowing what to do, right? Okay, so let's see how I respond. Gargoyles charge into the flank of the Chariot King. Together with Bale killed it off, and I think by overrunning forwards, it's out of the charge range of the trolls. Okay. Over 2 rounds, the horseman killed off this unit. Okay. And so on the right side, only his winged remains. Over on the left, double charge from Tortured Souls and Gargoyles, hoping to kill off the goblins, but failed to do so. I did not pick up the token, or maybe my Gargoyles dropped the token. Zazuzu made a run to pick it up. Okay, so 1 front and 1 flank from the 2 hammers killed off the mincers, and which means this slasher is relatively free to do what it wants. Okay, I did charge the gargoyles in from. Where did the gargoyles come from? Over here. Yeah, the gargoyles charged in. Okay, so the gargoyles were taken out. I think the gargoyles is there is to prevent more things from charging my Morlocks, I believe. Okay, so I think he could only fit one slasher into the Morlocks because of the gargoyles position. Wow, and his shooting took out this hammer unit, which is huge, right? But thankfully this Morlock stayed, although wavered, but wavered can still fight because of Fury. Okay, my Seductress has been finishing off the war engines. Okay, so let's see over on this side. Okay, it pushes his troll up to chase after. To chase after. I don't know why he didn't go at full speed though. I think he was trying to stay out of 16 inches of the horseman. Okay, so some shots in. I think it dealt 2 wounds to the gargoyles, but failed to kill it. Okay, so my turn. My Bale killed the winged. Horseman moved up to threaten the trolls because I could charge off the hill for Thunderous Tree. So in order not to die one shot, he wanted to make use of the terrain, the water terrain. But I could double charge with the gargoyles, then I would not cop the terrain penalty. Okay, but of course my charge range is now 10 inches because of holding the token. Okay, Morlocks killed off this slasher and faced off over here. I'm not sure. Seductress went here and charged the winged on top. Okay, so the rebel wavered the gargoyles. Gargoyles have no fury. I think he didn't do anything, and my Tortured Souls charged into this rebel. Okay, so top of 5. Let's see. Trolls finish off the Morlock. Stuff move around. Slasher finished off the gargoyle. So he's have 1 or maybe 2 turns left, right? So I wanted to chaff the slasher so that I can get away with this token. Okay, so at the same time, his troll and his slasher is coming into me, and I only have these 2 units left. I was afraid I couldn't stop him in time. So my fast units over here needs to start to leg it, and which is exactly what I did. I dashed my gargoyles and Bale over here, because at this point he is out of 12 inches to charge my horseman. So next turn he couldn't threaten the horseman anyway. Okay, so I think my horseman backed up 2.5 as well, and so he has no possibility of charging my horseman. Okay. So next over, yep. So my Tortured Souls charged the Slasher, and with this 20-inch threat just somewhere within enough to threaten these 2 units. Okay, so now even when he take out the Tortured Souls, he would, for possible turn 7, he still have to consider these 2 flying units. Okay, and so top of 6, he charged, double charged, killed off the Tortured Souls. 1 overran forwards, because if you overrun forwards, then you'll be out of charge range. If you roll high enough, so he's willing to take the risk on this one because it's not holding tokens anyway. And then for this one, holding the token, it turned around. Okay, so bottom of 6, I charged 4 units into this Slasher, and by charging this Zazuzu in as well, it went out of the Troll's charge range. Okay, so this is going really well for me. Quadruple charge, but only managed a waiver, which is good enough since it can't fight. So at the bottom of 6, I would have won. If there's turn 7, I would probably have won as well. But I think it stopped at the bottom of 6. So finally, out of 4 games, I got that final win. And yeah, so focus on scenario, and if you are better at splitting forces than the opponent, you might want to split to avoid concentration of their firepower and strength. Okay, when playing loot or objectives, you already should decide which one you're gunning for and which one you're hoping to just waste as much of his points to hold those tokens so that they are not taking yours. Okay, so for my opponent, I think it's very the critical mistake was to expose his trombones. So don't expose your valuable units till it's time to commit. Alright, with that, I'd like to talk about the future of my Abyss lists. So against shooting, although I lost most of them, I think there's still a chance, but to me, it's an uphill battle, especially if you're using the Abyssal Horsemen and Molochs, as they are vulnerable to shooting compared to hammer options from other factions. Just simply that defense 5 and at least the 15-17 is better against shooting. So if I were to tweak the Abyss list to be able to handle shooting, maybe one option might be a Tortured Soul Regiment spam. Tortured Souls, they are good in that they have no waiver value, but they are still defense 4 as well. What about Succubi? They do have stealthy, but 1 lower defense. 14-16, but with Fury as well. So they are quite costly, and another problem I find with Succubi is they don't deal damage on their own. They need a lot of support in terms of either items or Bane Chan support and so on and so forth. So another idea that was circling in my head was, what about running a Monster Mash list with double Cronius, Well of Souls, Bale, and 2 Fiends. Now Bale has been spectacular in all my games because he has stealthy, and so if you put him in the forest, things will be hitting on 6s, and yeah, and then he won't take lots of wounds, and then he will regenerate them back. And of course, he is so mobile, he can charge into things easily. He can hide in the forest and charge out of it not hindered, right? So Bale is definitely a mainstay even if I'm handling shooting armies. So this is a list that I have thought about in my head, but this is an experimental list. I don't think it will work, but it is just a list for me to test out concepts, right? So firstly, to unlock all the monsters, I have 3 hordes of ghouls and an extra ghoul regiment. So there's 3 unlocks of monsters, heroes, and an extra unlock somewhere. Okay, 1 gargoyle chef because I'm still running Zazuzu, because I feel that just Zazuzu and Bale provides that lightning bolt 15 threat, and it's very efficient. Okay, 2 tortured soul regiments as a flying chaff and flankers support. All right, double Cronius and 1 fiend, seductress with non-glass shield, Bale, as well as the Well of Souls. This is a 2,300 point list. Let's see how many drops. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 drops. A little bit on the low side, but yeah, then you don't have that weight of attacks, right? Because monsters usually come with less attacks, and the highest would even be just this Cronius D6 plus 6. So yeah, I have to rely on getting flanks to get lots of hits and wounds in. So that would be a big weakness of this list. Nonetheless, if I were to play this list, it is to try which monsters work and to tweak it from there. Probably to drop some of the monsters and ghouls for hammer units, whether it's going to be succubi or even back to the traditional hammers of the Morlocks and the Horsemen. So yep, that's my thoughts of playing this in future Abyss lists. But after creating this, I'm not very inspired to play this because I will have to do up a lot of new units. My current completed model list is just one regiment of ghouls, gargoyles, one tortured soul, so I have to do one more. I have to do 2 cronius, I have to do the fiend, I have to do seductress is just an individual model. I have it primed, and I have to do the well of souls. So especially the ghouls part, it will be a lot of work to do. So at this point, I'm just after playing it so intensely, I am taking a break from it, trying other armies before I come back to this again with maybe fresh perspectives. So with that, I'd like to shout out to my patrons. So 1 peep Anonymous, 2 peep Luke Schaefer, and 3 peep Guy Harper. Thank you guys for supporting me so that I can keep making content for everybody. So do like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, leave a comment on my YouTube video on what you think about my Abyss battles, and what do you think, that do you agree with me that they have some issue combating shooting armies? And yeah, if you're listening to my Newbie Dice podcasts, do drop a review as well. Helps the algorithm to recommend my videos more. And this is my Patreon link. And with that, that is the end of my battle reports, and I'll see you in the next one where I tackle trying to use another army to take on other lists. Thank you.